Shalom, giving all praise to my Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh by Shem, Yahushua by Shem, Bakah Kadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders that were well. Peace and many salutations to Yakim that's told in his truth. I watched the elder Yashawama video in regards to Isupk, D plus Israelites mocking ancient customs. And the biggest thing that I took away from this particular video is the fact that you know, you have Israelites that is mixing and mingling the ways of the world with the scriptures. And, a lot of times they're doing that so they can appeal to the masses. And as we're teaching the scriptures, it's not about appealing to the masses. It's about appealing to the elect. You know what I'm saying? It's not, this truth isn't for everybody. The ways of the scriptures and the true understanding of the scriptures is not for everybody. But you have these Israelite leaders. What they're doing is, they add elements of the world, saying to gain popularity, you know, and we know why they're trying to gain popularity because they have they have hidden agendas, and that main hidden agenda is to gain money, to get more money, and so they're willing to do things that's not based off of integrity by, adding these various elements to the world, and within them doing that, they taint the understanding of these scriptures. These scriptures, man, they're very precise. There's no private interpretation of the scriptures. There's a certain way in which we are supposed to be teaching, and how we teach is based off of the Eastern culture. It's not based off of what we see in America, or Western culture. And that's a stumbling block to a lot of people. And now the elder went in on, the holy kiss, which, I don't have to expound on. If you're not uh, subscribed to the elder's page, it's Remnant Saved 144. I strongly recommend that subscribe to this page. The elder Yashawamba brings it out, very often, very steadfast in his truth, always edifying, you know what I mean? That's, one of my go-to pages. And also the elder Ariala is on GMS, it's on Remnant Say 144 by, and he does very edifying videos. Also, mindset videos is, very important, not to digress too much, but I just wanted to just bring out the fact that we can't mix and mingle the ways of the world with these scriptures, man. Which is a problem, and also just bring out the understanding of what a church is. Our people have a very naive understanding about you know um, you know how things were done in the ancient world, or how our forefathers were operating in the ancient world. And a lot of it is while people are embedded in a pseudo historical facts. That means they're making up false realities of the past to fit the narrative of their agenda now. I'm gonna get this for you right quick. I'm gonna get that term for you. That term pseudo history. Pseudo history is purported history which treats myths, legends, sagas, and similar literature as literal truth. It's neither critical nor skeptical in its reading of ancient historians, taking their claims as face value and ignoring empirical or logical evidence contrary to the claims of the ancients. So a lot of these camps, they are engaged in um, pushing or purporting pseudo history. And I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, let's go back to uh, this Isupk character. Okay, yeah, check this out. But he kissed that brother on the cheek. Then they in whatever the hell they call, I guess they think he's a sackcloth. Like, that's not what the men of the Lord did. You understand? They was in warlike apparel. They were not in warlike apparel. That's pseudo history. And the reason why that they, again, why he's pushing that narrative, because he's trying to fit, this false reality into, what they are pushing out, the whole macho bravado, type of character, which is contrary to how Yahushua came. When Yahushua came, he came in a meek form. Okay, he didn't push himself as if he was a tough guy. The reason why is because he came through the bidding of the Heavenly Father to be a sacrificial lamb, and also he understood that his people were under captivity, under subjection. If he would have, pushed that narrative, he would have got a lot of Israelites killed. Okay, because who were we under subjection? Beneath, we were under subjection of the Roman society. We were not sovereign. Now we had, in a lot of ways, we had certain rights and things of that nature. We had rights to govern ourselves under the political parties of the Pharisees and the Sadducees and essential things of that nature. But uh, overall, we were still under the subjection of the Romans. Okay, and certainly it wasn't, the Romans wasn't going to allow us to, act as if we were, warriors and going to take over the the uh, the kingdom of Rome. Actually, that's one reason, well, one lie that they were actually telling the Roman um, the Roman government to get Yahushua killed. And also, that was the reason why you had Israelites get kicked out of Rome, just because of the sheer threat of that. You know what I mean? So, no, we wouldn't walk. The Israelites wouldn't walk around in warlike apparel. That's a false reality that they push in order to gain more members, man. And this guy, he wants to call the brothers uh, effeminate and things of that nature, but this guy has a very effeminate, what I'm saying, demeanor. This, how he's acting is similar to how, I hate to say it, but how black women act. They live off of these, false realities that they got off of the internet, and it's lead to their detriment. Case in point, you got women out there calling themselves bees and uh, bad bees and things of that nature. They're living a false reality, and these various women that call themselves that, they working at damn Target or working at a dead end job or a job that's not really that. You know what I mean? Lonely as hell, but they're bad bees. They're the boss bees and all these of that nature. And it's just a false reality, dude. All the pushing narrative of self. And this guy's coming in that same stead. All right. But let me get some scriptures, okay? Philippians 2 and 5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Mashiach Yahushua, who being in the form of the Most High, thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant. So when Yahweh Shah was on the scene, he took a form of a servant, not in the warrior like a pale. That's a false reality, dog. The reason why he's pushing that because ISUPK is known to be, the for lack of a better term, well, actually, they're self-proclaimed niggers. They're the nigger camp, right? They push the narrative of black culture, and the perception of, masculinity within the sphere of black culture. So it's gang banging. It's tough guy, type of, ordeal. And it's not edifying. It's not of the scriptures. It's of the world. Okay. That's of the world. All right. Being a tough guy, willing to fight or willing to argue and other things of that nature, it makes you really effeminate. You know what I'm saying? That's how these black women act out here. Arguing at the drop of a dime and things of that nature. You know, if you ever get into a debate with, the ISUPK member and ISUPK member, all he's gonna do is overtalk you. You know what I'm saying? Like a brizzle, you know. So that's not what masculinity is, bro. Being willing to fight and things of that nature doesn't make you a man. In a lot of ways that make you weak because you're not able to deal with your emotions in a positive way. So you result to violence, you know, because of your insecurities. All right. But back to it, man. Philippians 2:7. But made himself of no reputation and took upon him the form of a servant and was made in the likeness of man. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Wherefore the Most High also highly exalted him and given him a name which is above every name. So right there, it tells you in verse 8, he humbled himself. So part of being a man of the Lord is humility, right? Having discernment, you know, uh, doing away with the concepts of the world. Calling yourself a nigger is of the world. You're taking on the what's the word? The epithets, if I'm saying that correctly, of your slave master. You got the whole concept of being called a nigga, be calling yourself a nigga, a slave master, and also that takes away from the gospel. Why is that? Because this thing is not a black thing; it's an Israelite thing, bro. It's so-called Latinos, natives, right? Foreign Israelites, people that might look like other nations. They are Israelites too, and I'm starting to see more and more that Jake doesn't teach that, man. Jake teaches an all white thing. All whites are going to be destroyed. That's not true. You're going to have some so-called white people that are saved, that are in fact Israelites, man. We have to push that narrative for truth's sake, not to make this thing a black thing. And if you're making this thing a so-called black thing, you're taking away from the understanding of these scriptures, right? Because you're offending Northern Tribe brothers, man. Okay, there's a lot of Northern Tribe cats that are offended because of the narratives are being pushed, and the reason why these narratives are being pushed to the so-called black savior concept is because you have these camps that's trying to gain more members. Case in point, look what the whole incident with Kyrie Irving, the Million Man Jew March. You know what I'm saying? That took away from the gospel, man. Because our native brothers, our so-called native brothers, our so-called Latino brothers, are Israelites too. And you got Israelites The northern tribe Israelite prophets, contrary to popular beliefs, that's doing the work wonderfully, that's edifying on a very, very massive level, man. Okay, so this is why we had to get away from the ways of this world and push the correct narrative of of these scriptures. Now, this is Colossians 2:8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, and from the tradition of man, and from the rudiments of the world, and not after Mashiach. If you look at the word rudiment, it goes into the elements of the world. Calling yourself a nigger Israelite is of the world, and you're giving your enemy fuel, right? Because you're pushing a false narrative. There's no such thing as a black Hebrew Israelite, right? When you call yourself a black or a nigger Israelite, literally calling yourself a nigger Israelite, right? You're making yourself seem as if you're a cult, something that's not based in reality. When you lie on the scriptures and say that the apostles came in warlike apparel, okay, that is pseudo history. You're purporting a narrative that is false. And the reason why you're doing it is because, again, you're trying to appeal to an ex street cat. And this thing of ours is not about just pulling out people from the hood, or people who want to be from the hood. You know what I'm saying? Or people who uplift black culture. It said in the scriptures that the whole head is sick. So the entire nation of Israel needs salvation. You damn sure ain't gonna wake them up by teaching them to be a nigga that understand scriptures, man. Okay, let's get you some more scriptures. Now, this is Deuteronomy 6:12. Then beware lest thou forget Yahweh, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. And we are to beware that we forget the Most High when we go, when we're going into the promised land in the wilderness. This is symbolic. This could be symbolic for what we are enduring now. Right now, we are in the wilderness, right? And we're enduring certain provocations, alluding to Hebrews the 10th chapter, on our way to the promised land, right? So certain philosophies and things of that nature is being pushed. You want to be aware of, lest they take you away from the understanding of the scriptures. Okay, Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. That's right. So you have to be cautious of these guys out here who are pushing, an incorrect doctrine so that they can gain money from the masses, right? These guys are going to be to your detriment. And the same guy, claims the same camp that this man represents, claims to be a no coward camp. But when all hell break loose, they folded like a lawn chair. Told their congregation to go ahead on to get, the hot sauce, if you get my drift. Then, the whole C-19 thing. Folded. But these guys supposed to be tough guys and things of that nature. Then you got the one cat, I forget his name, doing some hella suspect. He wants to talk about Paul's moment. Oh my goodness. I forget his name, with the YMCA mustache. All he does is talk about gay stuff. And this cat is up there with a damn whip in his hand and a knife. Type, what are you on, bro? What is he on? Literally, they got a whip in his hand and a knife. And all he does is want to talk about how everybody, this person is gay and that person is gay, with an extreme lisp. You know what I'm saying? So say, bro, we could point fingers all day, man, but this is not about that. You know, it's about growing up in this thing. Matthew 10 and 17. Beware of men, for they will deliver you up in the council, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. Really going into something else. I seen another one that I I seen another one that was good in Hebrews. Not Hebrews, but um you know, Philippians that I wanted to get. There we go. Philippians 3 and 2. Beware of dogs, beware of evil workers, beware of the concision. Now, this is the the author. I want to say it was Paul wrote this word concision for a reason. Because concision basically goes into mutilation, and he was calling the people who were under circumcision basically mutilators, those that uh, did things that were pushed things that were supposed of the law, but really was for their hidden agenda. Okay, verse 3: For we are the circumcision which worship the Most High in spirit and rejoice in Yahshua Mashiach and have no confidence in the flesh. Yeah, we're not confident in this fake provider of being a tough guy, and you gonna step on this person and you a thugged out Hebrew Israelite Ebonics. Hey, come on, man. I'm gonna tell you something about these. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something too. A lot of these guys who are street guys, they're weak, man. A lot of street guys, dog. You take them out of their hood, you take that gun away from them. They really be some hoe ass niggas. I'm from an area about 30 minutes out of Dallas. It's very interesting how these guys that would be claiming Bloods and Crips, when they are moved to Ennis, you know what I'm saying, move to the area outside that I'm talking about, these same so-called thug cats, they get their ass thrashed every time. Why is that? Because they couldn't hide behind their hood. So when you're in the country, you can't hide behind a set and things like that. Who you are is gonna come out. Same thing with this truth. You can't hide behind a set. You can't hide behind, worldly accolades of you slanging crack or having money and things like that. Who you are is gonna come out. Your personality is gonna come out. And if you a hoe ass nigga, it's gonna come out. If you weak, it's gonna come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time. So that thug stuff never impressed me, dog. And a lot of you cats call yourself thugs. You ain't really getting to it like you say it. So that ain't never impressed me, man. You know what I'm saying? Verse 4. Though I might also have confidence in the flesh, even if any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more circumcised the eighth day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, and Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching the law of Pharisee. So here you are, you got guys that was pushing the law and really was under decision, mutilating the law for fifth lucre. And you had Paul saying, look, you want to talk about the law, you want to talk about being an Israelite, super duper Israelite, oh, I could brag all day. And you got certain people, brothers, that was really getting to it, that gave that life up, dog. You would never know. You know what I'm saying? You would never know. You would never know. Why is it? Because they count all that stuff as done for the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Concerning zeal persecuting the church, touching the righteousness which is in the law blameless. But what things were gained to me, those I count loss for my shiat. You see that? So all that stuff we done in the past, it don't matter. Half of this, man, come on, man. Half of the stuff was wicked as hell, bro. Wicked. Man, ain't nothing to be being a thug with that no precepts and nothing to brag on, bro. It's distasteful. It's of the world, man. It's not cool, man. Okay? It's not what that is. It's not hip. All right? And you got guys like this cat that you just seen pushing that false narrative, uh, for the sake of being cool. Too old for that shit. Too old. 45 with some young braids and a receding hairline. Trying to be hip. It's played out, man. All right. So yeah, man, we can't be mixing in this world with this world. Giving our praise to man, Father, his name is Yahweh by Shem, Yahweh Shai by Shem Kakadash. Double honor to the apostle as everywhere. Peace, many salutations, y'all got to the truth. Shalom.